Welcome. I hope that this video is unnecessary, but just for completeness, I want to be able to give instructions on how to install your Java and to install your IDE that we'll be using for the semester. So here in Canvas, click on Modules, and in this Welcome Start Here module, you will see under Explore, it says Instructions to install Java SE Development Kit and Apache NetBeans. So basically, to get Java running on your computer, you need to install it, right? For most operating systems, by default, they will not understand your Java code. We need to install Java to basically tell it, hey, I'm going to be running this code. I want you to know what this is. Now, once Java is installed, you can develop Java programs in something as simple as Notepad. That would be very arduous and disgusting and hideous, but you could do that, right? But the second step to really beginning to develop software on your machine would be to install some type of higher quality editor, such as VS Code, Atom, Sublime, or others. VS Code is incredible. Or to install an actual IDE, which does in fact have some advantages. So we're going to be doing that, installing Java and then installing IDE that we'll be using for this semester, which is NetBeans. So here we have some instructions. I'm on Windows, I'll be following those instructions, but if you're on Mac OS or Linux, you have instructions as well. So I'm going to click here on Oracle JDK Downloads, and it brings us to this page saying that we have these options available and that the JDK 24 is the latest release. So I'm going to come down and scroll. I see the JDK 24. I'm going to choose Windows, and then I'm going to choose this x64 installer, and I'm going to download it, right? So this is downloading. It is already done, and I'm going to click it here, let it open up, and let's see. I'm not even going to pause the video if I don't have to. Yes, I want to allow it to make changes on my device. Let's see how long this takes live on the video, right? We hit next, next, copying. Okay. This should be pretty quick, right? And we are done. It has been successfully installed, right? So let's come back here to our instructions. It says once installed, you can open the command prompt and you can type java-version. So I'm going to hit my Windows button, and then I'm going to type CMD for the command prompt. And here I'm just going to type Java space dash version. There's no space between the dash and the version. And sure enough, I now have Java version 24. I did have 21 prior to that install. I'm guessing it likely deleted 21 in the process of also now installing version 24. So that's it. That was simple. Mac OS, you have something similar, or same thing for Linux. You're likely aware of your respective operating systems, and you can make that happen. The second step is now to get our IDE we're going to be using, which is NetBeans. Now, NetBeans is not the best. I'll be very transparent here. It's not the best IDE to be using. An IDE, if you're not aware, because many people have only used VS Code. VS Code is an editor. It's not an IDE, but it's used in industry. It is an incredible product. Why? Because it's lightweight, meaning it opens quick. It's super lightweight, a piece of software on your machine. It has all kinds of things you can use with it and options you can install with it. It's super community friendly as well, right? But it's not an IDE. An IDE is an integrated development environment, which is so much more robust than a basic editor. And the number one IDE, admittedly, for Java is what is called IntelliJ. It's a great piece of software. We may or we may not use that later in the semester. What is NetBeans? It's another popular IDE. And for full clarity, it is not an educational IDE that only professors use. In fact, who makes Java? Where did we go to download Java? If you see right here, it was Oracle. Oracle is where Java is developed. Well, previously, until NetBeans got moved over to another company called Apache, whenever Oracle would let you download an installation of Java, they would couple it with the IDE that they thought was most appropriate. And which IDE did they couple it with? In fact, it was NetBeans. It's a great IDE, very useful, and a lot of value that we're going to be able to get out of it, especially with the debugger in the class. So here I'm going to click on this link. My computer's not clicking, so I will copy, paste, and that's no problem. We come here to this page, and it has Apache NetBeans 27. This is the latest version, August 21st, 2025. I click download. It brings me to this page. Now, there's a couple of options here. I'm going to close the Java page. The main options when you're downloading NetBeans and many pieces of software these days is you can either just download a zip file, right, which is a compressed file or folder, if you will, with many files inside it. And then you need to extract that folder, all of its contents. That's very important that people don't usually think about. Many students who are not as computer savvy or friendly, they don't think about that. But you actually need to, after downloading that folder, you need to extract it so all of the compressed contents are now fully available. A lot of times students will download a zip, they'll just double click it on Windows, go into it, click on the file they think they want, and things aren't working as they expected. Why? Because all of those contents are still compressed. My apologies if you already know this, but many students don't know this. I want to say that for full clarity. So one option is you can simply download a zip folder, right? A zip file, which you will extract. There's no installation necessary. You're merely going to download this zip file, extract it. You're going to go inside this now extracted folder, and you're going to simply double click netbeans.exe, or maybe it'll be netbeans 64 for the 64-bit version .exe. That's it. No installation. That's the recommended way for students in a class, different operating systems, because now it's fully portable, OS independent, and it just works out of the box. There are some negatives when you don't install a piece of software, because then by not installing it, it doesn't fully integrate into your system, right? Sometimes you'll open up, you want to like open a file, and it lets you choose, well, which piece of software do you want to open this with? If you right click on the file as a Windows user, for example, you're opening an image, you want to edit it. You can edit it in your default Windows editor. You can edit it in maybe Photoshop if you have that, or some other piece of software. And it allows you within those system windows to choose what you want to do, because those softwares have been installed and they're integrated into Windows. If you don't choose an installer, but instead you just unzip, you just download a zip and you install and you unzip that and run it that way, no problem, but you're not going to get that level of integration. I'm going to go ahead and show both ways though. So here I'm going to, let's even look at the instructions. It says, come here, download the latest stable binary, which is simply right here, Apache NetBeans 27. Here's the binary, platform independent. We click, and is it going to start downloading, or will it bring us to another page? We are about to find out. In theory, again, I really don't want to pause the video so you can see that this is quick. At the same time, I'm doing a lot of talking before clicking, so let's be patient for another 20 seconds. There it goes. It's starting. I don't know why it took that 20 seconds to just get going, but it's a big file, yet I'm on a LAN, but it downloaded in what, 8 seconds or so. Done. So here's my file downloaded. And I was trying to navigate to my folder. I can also just click it here, and it's just bringing it to my downloads. So when I clicked that, it brought me to this PC to downloads, and it brought me immediately inside that zip, right? So under downloads, I have here the Java file that I downloaded, and here's netbeans 27-bin.zip. And you may not, let me just do something else here. You may not see the .zip, which is a problem, right? If you just see netbeans 27-bin, that's it. Or right here, this Java file _bin, and you don't see .zip or .exe, that means you have file extensions turned off. Let's turn those on, right? So we're going to go to View. I'm pretty sure it's under View. Yep. Options. This is on Windows 10. My computer's still not on Windows 11 yet for whatever reason. View options, change folder and search options. And you're going to come here to View, the second tab, and you're going to uncheck where it says hide extensions for known file types. You uncheck that and you hit OK. You can hit apply or OK. It doesn't apply, then OK, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to hit OK. And now you're going to see those file extensions. But this is a zip file. So notice it immediately brought me into here as if I double clicked it. And as a student, you'll often click on this and then you'll scroll down. What do? And you remember, well, he told me to click on NetBeans. Where's that at? And it can be confusing, right? And you maybe like click around, you come inside bin and you find it here. And you would really just double click this file. The netbeans64.exe is what I would recommend you click on. But if you click on that right now without doing what? What did I say? You need to extract all of the contents of this folder, right? That's what needs to happen. So I'm going to come back to my downloads folder. I'm going to right click and here I'm going to extract all. Where? Just right here, I'll leave it in my NetBeans folder, in my downloads folder, but I'm going to call it NetBeans 27, right? I'll put the dash in there, no problem. NetBeans-27. This is the name of a folder that I'm going to be creating and extracting those contents into. This might take a minute. Let's see, 0%. It's a big extracting because we're talking about, what does it say? Over 3,000 files, right? It's going through this, thankfully 15% complete, not that bad. In the parallel to this though, let's come back to this other page where what we did here is we downloaded the zip file. What we also want to do is look at the installer. So if you want to install it and have NetBeans integrated into your system, we want to actually use the installer. And so I want to come back here and look at the instructions. So it does show the optional instructions here for running the installer method. It says come to this same page, run the installer. So there's a bit more though. You really need to, under this installers, you want to click on Friends of Apache NetBeans. And I click on this, it brings me to this other website where I now have installer downloadable options for Windows, for Mac OS. You need to know what is your processor type. That's outside of my purview. That's for you to understand. And you also have some Linux options as well, right? You should know what those are based off of your respective operating systems. So here I'm going to click on Windows x86, 64, and that is now downloading as well. So let me see, where am I at on this? Awesome. So this fully finished the extraction of those contents from that zip folder, right? That zip file was here. Now I have this folder, NetBeans 27, and I can come into here. I can come now into the bin folder, and now you even see the icon, right? Because it's been extracted. That little graphic was extracted as well. And now I can simply double click this icon, and without installing it, all we did is downloaded a zip file, we extracted it, and we're simply double clicking. Well, here we are, it opened up and we should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and make a new project and we're gonna wanna choose Java with Ant, Java application. We hit next. It's doing some configuration and activation because this is the first time I've used NetBeans on this particular machine. You know what? I don't even mind what it's doing, but I don't want it to save here. I want it to just save. I don't care. I'm gonna have it just save right here for the sake of this example. Don't do what I'm doing. And let's just call this Hello World and create a main class. I'm gonna get rid of this. We'll talk more about that later. And it just says Hello World. I hit finish. Now, since this is a fresh download of Java, I may not get any customization that I would normally have. Here I have all this, I call it the trash. I delete this, these comments. We'll talk more about what all this is. And let's see, it's mentioning that NetBeans, remove unused data of NetBeans. Yes, let's make that happen. Remove all of that. All right, so now I have this new Java program. I'm gonna type system, or here's a little shortcut, SOUT tab, it's system.out.println, and I'm going to type hello world, the famous first program. I'll zoom in for you here. I'm holding Alt and scrolling so you can hopefully see this. And now I'm going to hit Control S to save it. And I hit this pretty play button, right? Pretty simple. Now, I haven't tried this. I'm doing this live. In theory, this will work. I hit the play button. And there we go, hello world, super quick. I'm a VS Code salesperson. I love VS Code for many reasons I haven't even mentioned right now. I've mentioned some of them. But the fact is, when you run this same thing on VS Code the first time, it takes about 45 seconds. And that was on an i9 machine with 64 gigs of RAM. It takes a while because, again, it's not an IDE. It was doing a lot of other stuff. It's not as simplified or as easy to use out of the box. This is straightforward, right? So here is our first project. You did notice I had to make a project. It's a little bit different than VS Code. Even if you have the smallest program to say hello world, you have to say file, new project, make a new project, and it's going to automatically make the appropriate folders and structure for you on your computer. So again, we're running NetBeans here, but it was not installed. So that worked. It was successful. I'm happy about that. But now let's go to our downloads folder, which I have here. And we downloaded Apache NetBeans 27 as an installer. Let's double click this. Let's see what happens. I've never installed this particular newest downloadable. So you're going to see this live for the first time. And let's see how easy it is. I want to, yes, allow my device to allow this app to make changes on my device. I want to have it installed right there. That is perfect. Create a desktop shortcut. Fine. I hit next. I might delete that shortcut afterwards. Install. That was easy. There were no other questions being asked. Pretty straightforward, at least for Windows users. I imagine the experience is pretty similar for a Mac user or a Linux user. Again, I don't want to pause the video, even though I'm looking here at 16.5 minutes right now, but I'd rather, again, not pause so you can see the whole process. So I need some background music playing or something, right? All right, halfway through, and I'm curious how accurately this will install. Will there be any problems? Usually there's not. It should be solid right out of the box. So let's hope, right? Halfway done. I'm trying to fill the space, but again, I need some background music, right? Okay. And you'll notice as well that when I ran that downloadable version of NetBeans, I was going to say you'll notice it was ugly, but that may not have a lot of meaning to you. It was a light mode, basic, no customization. That's because it was a new, fresh download. My NetBeans, which it pained me to delete it, but I deleted it for this video, my previous version, had all kinds of customizations set up, and I don't mind deleting it. Then I can show you how to set up those customizations, because you're likely going to want dark mode. You're likely going to want certain other themes there, and so we'll show you how to make that happen. I hit finish. I think I hit launch. Good. Yeah, it said it's going to launch. So here we are. Now it's installed, right? We no longer are just running that NetBeans that came out of the box. It's automatically installed, and I like that it remembered this. Interesting. I like that it actually brought up my code and saw that I had this previous version. This previous project that I made. So you know what? I want to confirm. I'm going to close this. I'm going to come to my desktop, and I want to I've closed. NetBeans is not running. I only have OBS running, which is how I'm recording this. I'm going to double click this shortcut they made. And this is the one that was installed. Okay, good. And very cool. You may be wondering why my surprise is the fact that I made this project in a different version of NetBeans, the one that I had just downloaded, extracted, and ran. I wasn't sure if it would recognize that it's still here, but it did. So that's kind of cool. And of course, that's because it's just linked to my user. Awesome. I guess let me also just confirm here. Does it still work and run? And it does. Fantastic, right? So what else can we do? The video's at 18.5 minutes. It's now getting to the point where it's going to be a bit too long. I want to come in here and show you some of these things you can do as far as theming and options. So I went to here. I went to Tools, Options, and I'm going to come to Appearance, Look and Feel. Right? This is just, they only give you 4 options right now. And when you choose one of these, we'll have to restart your NetBeans. It says needs restart. It doesn't mean your operating system, just NetBeans. I'm going to choose Flat Leaf Dark. I'm going to hit OK and then click here to restart the IDE. That's now happening. For me, this is just much better. I don't like dark mode. You like light mode. I'm sorry, I don't like light mode. You do. No hate, but I am casting a bit of shade on it. So here we are. This is already significantly better. What I'm going to still do is I'm going to want to change a lot of these colors. There's things you can download, different themes based off of a particular language that you can download and set up in here. But I'll leave that, since the video is already at 20 minutes, I'll leave that for maybe in class or perhaps for another video. I hope this has been helpful. Any questions, as always, feel free to reach out. Take care, everyone.